Hey guys, this is Altair4123, and one thing about me is that I love toys. Ever since growing up, I've always been fascinated with characters and heroes like Ultraman, Gundam, being these larger-than-life titans standing beside real-world buildings and skyscrapers. You know, watching them from TV, destroying all these buildings around them in this cheesy tokusatsu fashion. There was just something magical about seeing them exist in the real world that felt so real, when they weren't just toys, but actual living giants living among us. But when you actually own a figure like me, as you see around my collection, it just felt like it is just a toy. So for this video, what I'm gonna talk about is not necessarily about these toys or these IPs themselves, but what makes the magic work behind it. And in this case, the thing is a diorama. You know those ones from like the model build trains set, where you see all the dioramas and all the small miniatures. The problem is, for a lazy builder like myself, someone who doesn't want to spend hours painting, weathering, building from scratch, this is something that can help me build my own scene without much effort. This is the build-it-yourself plastic model dubbed Tomytec's Diorama collection, also known as Diocolle Combat. And more specifically, this is the pre-painted industrial set ruin called the DCM01 Destroyed Factory. And the whole idea behind it is to create something what Tomytec calls a desktop diorama, basically giving your figures a world to exist straight out of the box. And honestly, this might be one of the easiest way to bring your figures to life. Now the unboxing experience feels pretty straightforward, especially if you're familiar with Gunpla or plastic models. Once you open the box, you greet it with plastic runners, instructions manual, stickers, and even some loose dust and gravel included inside. The one main difference that separates this something from Gunpla is the part that are all pre-painted, weathered straight from the factory. This is honestly one of the biggest selling points for me, including the suit stains, structural damage effects, and even some dry brushing, as you can see on these. All you need is basically a plastic nipper and a bit of patience. Unfortunately for me, reading the manual, you do need glue for this, because some pegs are not friction fit like the roof and the arches, and some debris are recommended to be glued straight to the model itself. But for me itself, I'm just gonna glue off the joints on the roof here. The parts themselves are made from ABS and PS plastic, which allows them to create thinner, more realistic broken parts without becoming too fragile. Unsurprisingly, this thing is pretty modular, which you can sort all of these bits and pieces like the roof and the metal parts according to what you desire. So the possibilities are endless. And now that everything is built up, this is the destroyed factory. As the name suggests, this is a factory building that has clearly been through some heavy combat. The roof is partially collapsed and the structural damage, and it looks completely run down, which Tomytec really sells with this look and the painting that we're going with. The pre-painted parts represent the destruction extremely well. It feels like this place has a story. In terms of features, being a diorama, it doesn't really have a lot of gimmicks going for itself. Instead, it's meant to be a display companion or a stage piece for your 1/144 scale figures. Or in this case, which I have here, is the high-grade ground gundam. And this is where the magic happens. Suddenly, it's no longer just a toy standing on your desk. Suddenly, it becomes a scene. And I spent way too much time recording this and figuring out the different fun angles. You can even stretch it with some figures like Heisei Figure Arts Ultraman, and it still works. You can create scenes of exploration, combat, or just quiet moments after battle. This is where this diorama shines the most, especially for display and toy photography. It gives your figures a world to exist instead of just standing on a shelf. For other ones, I do have the other buildings like the combat line, which includes destroyed building A, B, and C. So if you want to see more of these diorama, comment down below. So that's about wrap it up for Tomytec Diocolle Combat Destroyed Factory. For this thing, I really love it because it gives you the professional looking diorama results without requiring professional level skills. Because honestly, this is something I've always imagined as a kid, not just owning the hero, but also owning the world they live in. See you around!